About 30 Kurds are dead, bombed in an airstrike by Turkish forces. These are U.S.-backed forces killed by Turkish military. Both sides are supposed to be on the same side as the U.S. in the campaign against ISIS. Correspondent Doug McKelway is at the Pentagon tonight with this story. Good evening, Doug.
Good evening, Brett. Last night, Turkey's attack on U.S.-backed Kurdish forces happened about 8:30 p.m. East Coast time. And while Turkey did give 1 hour's advance notice to the United States and to Russia, it made no attempt to seek approval for the raid from its NATO allies, nor to coordinate the attacks with coalition partners. So there was no time for the U.S. to alert its Kurdish allies. At least 30 were killed and 20 wounded in the attack by 24 Turkish warplanes, which struck at 3 different targets in northern Syria and Iraq. The closest U.S. troops were 6 miles away. Turkey's attack prompted a swift condemnation from here at the Pentagon, where one official characterized it as very serious. And in a written statement today, the Pentagon noted, quote, "These airstrikes were not approved by the counter-ISIS coalition and led to the unfortunate loss of life of our partner forces in the fight against ISIS, including the Kurdish Peshmerga." The State Department also conveyed its anger to the government of Turkish President Erdogan.
The point we made to Turkey, and I'm making now, is that Turkey cannot pursue that fight at the expense of our common fight against the terrorists that threaten us all.
And it was just last Monday that President Trump called President Erdogan to congratulate him on his election victory, a referendum which gave him expanded powers. He was the first Western leader to do so. His reward, the Syria fight just got more complex. That complexity is derived from the U.S. need for both Kurdish and Turkish support in the fight against ISIS. But Turkey considers some of our Kurdish allies, like the YPG, who've been highly effective ground fighters against ISIS, to be terrorists. At the same time, the U.S. can't afford to alienate Turkey, a NATO partner who allows the U.S. to use its Incirlik air base to launch airstrikes against ISIS. The U.S. also has scores of small tactical nuclear bombs positioned at Incirlik. The bottom line here, Brett, is that old adage, the enemy of my enemy is my friend, is being put to the test here as 2 of our allies go at it tooth and nail right now, just in advance of our attempt to retake ISIS's stronghold, its de facto capital of Raqqa in Syria. Brett, back to you.
Complex on the ground. Doug McKelway live at the Pentagon.